It would be subversive of every human interest that the cry of one half the human family be stifled. Woman, in stepping from the pedestal of statue-like inactivity in the domestic shrine and daring to think and move and speak, to undertake to help shape, mold, and direct the thought of her age, is merely completing the circle of the world's vision. Anna Julia Haywood Cooper was born in slavery in Raleigh, North Carolina. Some records say 1858, some records say 1859. She was literate even before it became legal for her to be literate. And as soon as she had access to the resources of St. Augustine, she entered with the first class of students here at the age of 10 years old. St. Augustine's was one of the first educational opportunities for formerly enslaved African Americans, not only in North Carolina, but in the South as well. When Anna Julia Cooper entered St. Augustine's normal school as a 10-year-old, she would have been in the midst of people of all ages, many of them who had not had any exposure to formal education. And so her earliest moments here would have been immediately going into service to the teachers. She would have been, some would have said, the teacher's pet or a teacher's assistant. She was a tutor, and so not only was she learning to read on a higher level, to calculate, to have access to arithmetic on a higher level, but she was actually learning to teach from a very young age. When she realized that she hit a ceiling, being amongst the majority of the student population here at St. Augustine's, she advocated for access to more rigor, to more challenge. And that's when she said, I can do exactly the work that the boys are doing. I can study Greek, I can study Latin, I can study higher level arithmetic, give me the algebra. And so she did successfully advocate for herself. There was some resistance at first. There was this notion that we educate the girls to become homemakers, to become maybe nurses, maybe teachers. She will not need this higher level of education is what the theory was, but she resisted that. She pushed against those thoughts and continued to grow intellectually. And then from here, she launches herself to Oberlin. And there was pretty much a direct route from Raleigh to Oberlin. She is someone who we would call not only a genius, but a lifelong learner. She was in her late 60s when she attains her doctorate degree from the Sorbonne in Paris. As far as we know, she is the first woman of African descent to attain that level of degree from the Sorbonne. She's someone who was relentless in her passion for offering not only to herself access to education, but offering to what the Bible would say the least of these access to education. So she was a passionate, lifelong learner, and I think the life of her mind and her spirit was really the heart of her story, the heart of her life. The cause of freedom is not the cause of a race or a sect, a party or a class. It is the cause of humankind, the very birthright of humanity. She is known for an extraordinary piece of writing called A Voice from the South by a Black Woman of the South. It was published in 1892. Her book is really a collection of what appear to be speeches, essays. She moves through reflections on the Civil War, on what she thinks needs to happen for the uplift of African American people. She also commemorates the work of early feminists, particularly New England women and educators. So she really puts into this volume the things that she cherishes and the words that people have called her to share at various moments, particularly at women's rights gatherings. And so it's a wonderful collection of Anna Julia Cooper's thoughts and her philosophy, her ideology. She is calling herself a Black woman, and she's speaking out, lifting her voice and saying, these are the thoughts that I have to share with the world. She's almost saying, I consider myself a brilliant human being, not in an arrogant way, but in a way that resists the notion that women are subservient and African Americans are subservient. She's saying, this is what a woman's mind can create. This is what a Black mind can create. Let our girls feel that we expect something more of them than that they merely look pretty and appear well in society. Not the boys less, but the girls more. This city, Raleigh, bore witness to the birth of Anna Julia Cooper. It bore witness to her earliest attempts at activism, successful attempts at activism. It bore witness to her becoming a very young widow. This city saw Anna Julia Cooper become educated and turn into an educator. This city holds her remains in Raleigh City Cemetery. But certainly, while her story begins and ends in Raleigh and touches Washington, D.C. with the M Street School, the Dunbar School, and touches Wilberforce and touches Oberlin, Ohio, and touches the Sorbonne in Paris, this is an international story. She's a story of a human voice rising up out of bondage to light a way for others.